Aloha everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the Anker 757 PowerHouse. This is Anker portable power at its best. This thing can actually not only run a refrigerator, but also run camping gear if you want to be able to go camping or go to the beach where you need power, but you don't have access to an outlet. And this is definitely going to be working great. It has 6 different power outlets that you can use from, 4 USB type A, 2 USB type C with PD delivery, of course, and of course a car adapter in case you want to be able to run things from it. But the best thing about this is in case of an emergency or in case you're in a situation where you don't have access to a power outlet, this is going to be able to carry you. And of course, for medical equipment or anything like that, this is obviously going to be a must. Also, really nice thing, it actually works as a UPS, meaning you can power things from it as you're charging it. This is TK, and this is my review of the Anker 757 PowerHouse. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. And of course, make sure you keep it with me here because we're going to definitely share with you guys a nice little coupon at the end of this video to be able to save some money on your own PowerHouse. Let's start off by talking about the packaging itself. It comes in a really nice package and it gives us some information as far as what to expect. We have the actual PowerHouse itself that's centered in there. Of course, we get the cables to be able to charge it directly from the wall, as well as actually a cover to be able to cover your PowerHouse so that it doesn't get dusty whenever you're not using it. They do recommend you, by the way, to charge it to 100% when you first get it so that you don't have any issues with the battery itself. And speaking about the battery itself, it's rated to be basically about 1229 watt hours, or basically 1500 watts of capacity to be able to actually help you power your life wherever you need it. And what I like about it is that it also works if you're charging it. So you're able to use it kind of like a UPS, but essentially the main benefit here is the ability of using it on the go, going camping, going to the beach, or in situations where maybe there's a power outage. So charging it to 100% is actually pretty nice. Technically, from a charging standpoint with the battery technology that we have in here, you're able to go from 0 to 80% in about an hour. That's crazy. And of course, up to 100% in about an hour and a half. That's very fast considering some of the other options on the market that could take somewhere between 4 to 5 hours, even longer. And those are basically recommended to charge overnight. And as far as the connectivity and what do we get here, we have 6 different power outlets. 3 of them are going to be the 2-prong connections. And of course, the other 3 are going to be the 3-prong. So the one that has the extra connection for ground. As far as USB, we have 4 USB type A and of course 2 USB power delivery, one at 60 and one at 100 watt power delivery capability. So you're not going to have any issues running your MacBook or any system that requires that much power. The last thing obviously is the ability of using like a cigarette light adapter. So if you have something from the car, you could definitely bring that out and of course use it there. And I really like the options that we get there. So everything that you need is really included in the package. And of course, there are 2 different solutions, one with or without the solar panels. I don't have the solar panels, so I can't really speak to that experience, but the overall experience is very nice. They also have a very nice large display to give us the ability of seeing not only how much is the charge state of the system, but of course what we're using and how much is the rated amount of time left of the usage that you're using. So the more things you plug into it, obviously the time is going to go down and it'll give you a good estimate based on the usage. And of course, this is intended to power a lot of things at your home, although it does have a limitation. I will say this, I tried using it to charge up my Tesla and it would just not work. So it will not work on a Tesla if you have a Tesla, but if you want to charge up your, connect your refrigerator, this is going to work. If you have a CPAP machine that's going to need power overnight and the power's out, this is going to work. Now, when it comes down to the UPS functionality, I really like the fact that it actually has a very quick switch from using the power through the pass-through power connection as you're charging it and using it to using the internal cells. So this is something that you want to keep in mind if you're using it for medical equipment. This is definitely going to be one of the better solutions. Now, you may be wondering, how long does this battery last and what are some of the functionalities in here? Now, first and foremost, I will say there is a button on there that says basically power saving. So that really runs nicely if you want to be able to prolong the batteries or the charge state of the battery without having to degrade. So if you turn that feature on and you're not using the battery, or let's say you're charging something from it and that feature is on, the device will actually shut itself down. So it will not keep continuously providing power if that feature is turned off. So that power saving function is very, very nice and it really works nicely there. Now, this battery itself, due to the battery chemistry that they're using in here, which is very unique, allows us to actually be able to expect up to a minimum of 3,000 power cycles, meaning 0 to 100%, which is over 50 hours worth of usage before the battery starts losing some of the maximum charge capacity. So it's something like smartphones, or say if you've used anything, even talking about the Tesla, after a year, a Tesla, even though it has a much bigger battery, is rated to lose about almost 3 to 5% worth of battery capacity. And this is rated to run, again, for up to 3 3,000 times before it even degrades from 100%. So keeping in mind that obviously 3,000 times is a lot of time to use it power cycle fully, but the main benefit, if you're going to use it, charge it, make sure it's sitting at 100%, turn on the power saving function, and then of course have it ready for whenever you need it. Now, if you may be wondering, the 757 may be too much for me. Why am I looking at something that big? Keep in mind, Anker does actually have a couple of other solutions that are slightly smaller, so 521 and of course the 535 with smaller batteries, but the benefit there is that they're still featuring the same battery technology, so you can expect the same battery longevity from those type of solutions as well. So either be it the 521, 535, or the 757, they have different solutions, and of course they'll be able to answer all your needs. And of course, the smaller the batteries, the less outputs that we have, so they don't all carry the same thing. But the main benefit here, of course, is that you have a solution that will fit your needs. You just need to find out which battery is the right one for you. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this unit does carry a 5-year warranty from Anker, so you're not going to have any problems. And if you do have any problems, you should be pretty covered from any kind of manufacturing defects. So it's something to keep in mind. If something does, let's say, stop working after about a year, you're covered up to 5 years with Anker. Now, Anker utilizes the HyperFlash TM technology to be able to charge this unit from 0 to 80% in about an hour, and it actually charges quite fast, as I'm showing you guys with the charging test that I'm doing right there. And of course, up to 100% in about an hour and a half. So the reality of the matter is, even though it may give you hours of usage, it doesn't take hours to recharge, which is also a benefit whenever it comes to power backup. In case you're in a situation where you know power is going to be back up for about an hour, maybe a couple of hours, you can get your system back up and running, and then of course carry on with that. And I like the fact that it actually has fast charging and of course a large capacity to be able to share that power. Now, since we're talking about that 3,000 power cycles that you're using there, which is actually longer than most of the other systems that's available on the market, what are the things that you can power from this? So what can you plug into this? For the most part, anything that you normally plug in into a power outlet in your home should function off of this. The amount of usage out of it will depend on what you're plugging in and of course how much the power draw is. And what I mean by this is, let's say you plug in a hair dryer. Obviously I don't use those, but what I meant to say is if you plug in a hair dryer which has a much more powerful power draw, your usage is going to depend, and of course it will drop down much faster. But let's say you're using something, let's say a big refrigerator. For me, we have a big refrigerator in the home. I'm showing you guys right there. And of course, this one actually I was surprised. It was rated to give you about 41 hours, and I'm not sure if it's going to stay that long, but for my massive, obviously it's a high efficiency refrigerator, so it's not drawing as much power as some of the older models, but you can see definitely that it's able to charge it, and of course providing me that peace of mind that my food is not going to actually go bad in case of an emergency. And we've had those quite a bit here. As you know, California fire season is technically all year round, and we've had power outages where our power has been gone sometimes for days. So it provides us that peace of mind where we know that our food is not going to go bad. And again, powering a refrigerator like that tells you exactly how much the system can handle. And of course, just for kicks, I did also wanted to try to see is, will it power my treadmill for exercises in case there's a situation where we don't have power and I don't have the ability of going out. And surprisingly, it actually did work great with my Mobvoi treadmill here at home. I was able to turn it on, plug it in, and as you can imagine, obviously the power draw is different the faster you are going on the treadmill, as the power draw is fluctuating there. But the benefit of it is I'm able to go in there and do a half hour, maybe an hour run/walk and not have to miss a beat, even if I don't have power at home. So it really makes this a very flexible and very nice and versatile system. Now, one thing I obviously want to talk about is this needs to be functioning for us outside of the home, because again, this is also intended to be something you can take with you when you want to go camping. But of course, we want to make sure that this system works with us when we're on the go. So that's really the main benefit. When you have it fully charged, it's ready to give you all 1,229 watt hours to be able to power up whatever system that you want. So we went camping, we set up the tent, and of course, and we had basically I decided to basically plug as many things as I could. So I brought in a fan. It was a little bit warm that day, so I brought in a fan that I was running on the side. Then I had my laptop. This is a Toughbook 40 that I was reviewing, watching a movie directly off of that. And of course, I had it also running the pump for the bed. That's the air mattress that's sitting here on the left. And of course, charging a couple of phones and my tablet, since we want to be able to stay connected. All of these things on the go without having to worry about having to, not have an outlet with us. Will we run out of power? All of that really works nicely. And one thing to mention that I probably didn't mention to this point is there's a nice little light, like a light bar that's present right above the screen. And it gives you the ability of having a nice little warm ambient light. And there's 3 different settings you're able to go in there, from like 2, 3, and 5 watts, which gives you the ability of having a nice soft light where you are when you're camping without having that really bright light in case you don't want that. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of functionality, and a really well-built design that provides us the flexibility that we would look for when we want power on the go, and of course flexible options where the ability of going with USB-A, USB-C, as well as full-on wall outlet to be able to use up to 6 different devices. So The biggest thing I like about this is the back panel that we have on the back interfaces with both solar connectivity, resetting it in case you have any problems with it. If there's any issue, there's a button on the back. The plug, of course, will be able to plug interface with the provided cable directly into the wall. There is no spot on the unit itself to house these cables, so you do need to bring them with you. But overall, it's small enough to actually be put in the trunk of any car. And I like the fact that it's not super heavy that you need two people to carry. It's actually very easy to carry. Just understand, obviously, 1229 watts or 1500 watt hour there. You're looking at basically a heavy piece of equipment that you need to be comfortable. So always basically lift with your legs, not with your back. That's always my recommendation. Now, the one thing I would have wished about this is I would have hoped that this one would work with my Tesla, but assuming that this just does not have the same amount of power draw to be able to charge up an electric car. So the Tesla did recognize it. It did allow me to actually, it did show that it's ready to charge, but it always failed every time I tried to start the car to charge. So there is some protection features there. And of course, the Anker 757 is not rated to charge up EVs. So this was just me trying to push the envelope and see what we can do. Smaller appliances, of course, Power Solutions, it'll give you obviously the longest battery life. Things that draw a lot of power, like hair dryers or anything that draws a lot of power, obviously this is going to reduce the power life. But powering your PC, your projector, your CPAP machine, speakers, lamps, TVs, routers, drills, mini refrigerators, kettles, and of course blenders or even coffee makers, microwaves, or even rice cookers are not going to have any problem. And I think that's the flexibility here. My hope is that you found this video helpful and that you may have found something that will work for you. Keep in mind, the 757 is the highest end, but you also have the 535 and the 521, which will give you very similar experiences with a smaller battery capacity and maybe fewer outlets, but still utilizing the same battery technology that we have in here. And I feel like Anker's doing a very good job. They're known for their power banks, and this just takes it to the max. Now, if you've lasted with me all the way to the end of this video, I do want to share with you guys a very nice promotion that Anker was able to give me, and that's $100 off your own unit. Now, this is a limited time offer. The coupon will be in the description below, but of course you're able to utilize that to save $100 off your own 757 unit, which is definitely a very good, if you live in California, this is almost like a must-have for every home. The ability of running your refrigerator in case of a power outage is an important function that we need to take seriously. And of course, if you're trying to prepare for earthquake preparedness or any kind of emergency preparedness, not only food is required, but nowadays we do need power to be able to run our electronics for an extended amount of time. This is TK. Thank you very much for the support.